site that we're going to visit is typically riverside development, big warehouses where grain was distributed, and then when the railway became more important than the river transportation, all these areas got abandoned.
Hi, I'm Nick Ebbs. I'm Chief Executive of Blueprint. Blueprint is a property development company, a public-private partnership with the Homes and Communities Agency, which is a government department, and Igloo. And we are looking to redevelop this site that we're going to have a tour of. Nottingham Waterside is a large area of might best be described as post-industrial landscape, so a lot of former industrial buildings situated on the south side of Nottingham city centre, between the city centre and the River Trent. City centre is only about 1 kilometre away, so it's very close to the city centre, but as you'll see from the film, it feels quite a desolated and an abandoned area. So let me tell you a little bit about the two warehouse buildings. This one I know was built 1930 because there's a moulding on the front which says 1930s, and I think this one was built a little bit later. I think they traded quite successfully for a couple of decades, but then ceased to really handle any significant traffic from 1950s onwards. You can see the remnants of the rail lines here that connect to a railway line that still runs just north of the site over here. I mean, who knows, we might one day resurrect it, but the track and the route is still direct through to the railway line. Of the two buildings, we think this is the one that is in better condition generally, and is probably the one we would want to keep. This one, just because of the sheer amount of work required to it, and what would we do with the space anyway, is more challenging. It's relatively low height inside on the upper floors, so it kind of limits the development potential. This is the basin, which would have had obviously lots of barges in. You can see the gantries overhanging on the side of the warehouse building here, so they would load up via the gantries. So it all looks a bit sad and tired now, but it's not difficult to envisage what this might be like with pleasure boats, and it's just amazing, isn't it? And I think it's one of the very few marinas along the Trent. There's some down at Trent, but there aren't many along this side of the city that are engaged with the city that have this water facility. I mean, there's a couple of interesting things about the river. One is the river is used mainly by leisure craft these days, so it's not for ferrying goods backwards and forwards. But there is, you often see canal boats, cruisers. There's a sailing club one end about 400 yards that way, and there's a boating club, university boating clubs, and several others the other side. But in here, I think this could work really well with floating pontoons for a whole variety of leisure craft, and maybe associated facilities, with a restaurant, chamboury, and that sort of thing as well. And the other quite interesting dimension we want to explore is around using the basin and the water as part of an energy strategy, because the Trent is warmer than most other rivers, because large power stations further upriver disgorge hot water into the river, which is, so I am told, 1 or 2 degrees warmer than most other rivers. And we've been talking to a number of companies about the potential for taking energy out of the water in order to support whatever development we run around here. So that's just one of a whole host of ideas we're looking around, sort of innovative energy strategies. This is known as the Hook,
Yeah.
and it is part of the floodplain, so it will never be built on. The flood defences sit at the back of that area just in front of the houses, so this will forever remain open. And presents a wonderful backdrop. And these are playing fields over on the right hand side,
Yes.
football and rugby club playing fields. As competitors in this very exciting initiative being run by ISOVER, what you need to have in mind is the vision. What is the vision for this new space? So it's a classic regeneration site. It needs a new vision, a new raison d'etre. To my mind, I mean, you'll need to find your own solution, but to my mind, it's very much about creating a new mixed-use, sustainable neighbourhood. It's about creating new homes. It's about creating a zero-carbon community. It's about making the most of the wonderful attributes of the site. So probably a bit difficult to see some of those attributes as you first walk round, but as you start to think about the site, we have water, we have a lovely river that's not canalised, that's got bends, you've got beautiful outlook to the south, you've got warehouse buildings that look incredibly challenging, but actually with lots of creativity could be turned into huge assets. We're close to the city centre. It is a staggering opportunity. To my mind, it is about creating a new neighbourhood, a new sustainable neighbourhood for the 21st century.